And every now and then I add something to it. I think, oh no, it's missing this, and I add it, and then a little later I go, it actually doesn't need it because these 5 points really cover it. No money, no barter, no trade, no value attached to anything, because everything should be equal in value. And people say, well, what about, this doctor's contribution is more than the plumber? I go, really? Wow. Try and call a doctor when your pipes are leaking. Or when the lights are gone out, call the doctor to come fix your electricity. No. Everybody's contribution is equally valuable. The guys that clean the streets, if they don't clean the streets, who's going to clean the crap? You're going to try and get your surgery through crap? Good luck to you, buddy. So you realize when you start leveling the playing field, everybody's contribution should always be equally valuable. So that means the value system falls out. There is no value. If everything is equal, the word value has no meaning. So no value attached to anything. No money, no barter, no trade. Now people say bartering. Yeah, but bartering and trade has been around for thousands of years. Yes, but that's what led to where we are today. Because he who has more to trade or barter will eventually rule the roost. And they do. They take control because they have more chickens or more cows or more guns. They have more to barter with. It doesn't work. Any bartering system is a slavery system or trading or exchanging system. And that takes a while to process because people automatically, you still get these emails. Oh, I've been a member of the Ubuntu movement, or I want to join you. So I love this bartering system. And I go, hold on, we've got nothing to do with bartering. Read the book or go study what we've done. We're not doing bartering here or trading or exchanging things. It's a recipe for disaster. It might look good for the first year or 2 or 10 or even 100 years. It might somehow work out. But eventually, it will explode or implode, and somebody's going to take control of that system. So the only system that works point number 5, where everybody contributes their talents and skills for the greater benefit of all in the community. Now, how the hell do we get there? That's the big question. The good news is we are there already. We are already doing it, and that's where we're going to get to at the end of this workshop. So Ubuntu around the world since 2005 has grown exponentially, and unfortunately that's what puts so much pressure on me, and that pressure then gets converted into financial pressure. And eventually, a few months ago, it got to a point where this thing that I created almost destroyed me in every possible way, financially as well, because you give this everything, but it doesn't always come back in the amount of energy that you're giving it. So it's been a sacrifice. A really quite a nasty sacrifice, and I've got to dig myself out of quite a hole right at the moment while I'm standing in front of you talking to you. So we have to reinvent ourselves, trying to figure out how to overcome this beast, because as we go through this, you realize that the system of money is designed, encoded into the energetics and the program of money, is that it will always destroy everything that tries to oppose it in any way. And it's done this for thousands and thousands of years. That's just the way the energetics of money and finance works. So, and I'm feeling it really, really strongly right now. And that's a big wake-up call for me, because I've been talking about this for so long, I forgot, and now, bam, it just hits you when you least expect it. So we got to reinvent ourselves and figure out how we're going to take this movement forward, because we can't stop now. How are we going to take it forward without being destroyed by the thing that we're trying to get away from? And that is, unfortunately, where the backlash from some of the members come. Oh, now you're becoming a capitalist. And that's when I have to remind them. We have to use the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. And that includes money. It includes corporate structure. It includes the pyramid scheme. It includes technology, includes everything, includes money itself. The stronger we become, the more successful we're gonna launch this into the world. Because if we're weak, we're financially weak, nothing's gonna happen. And unfortunately, that is the nastiest thing that I've had to face. But I've had to come to terms with it. The one thing that we change by using the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation is we turn competition into cooperation and collaboration. And that's the one little magic ingredient that turns everything upside down. The moment we start to cooperate and collaborate, we're no longer going to have corporate megalomaniacs that control corporations that develop and invent things that get used against us. Suddenly, everything we do in cooperation and collaboration belongs to all of us, and it benefits all of us because we're all contributing towards it. And that's where this workshop here today is heading towards, is the one small town strategy that's taken 12 years to figure out how simple it is. And you'll see how simple it is. So around the world, we have members in more than 140 countries now, and these are just a small example of the sort of more active countries. And this is the book. So if you don't have a copy of the Ubuntu book yet, I'd urge you to get it. I don't know how many copies we got left outside at the table. When we finished here, I'll also go to the table with my other books. And for those of you that want to get some books, please come and buy the books. I don't want to have to schlep them back to South Africa with me. Books are heavy, and they cost a lot of money to fly around. So you can help me by buying a book. And so now, I'd like to bring you back to that little piece of paper that I gave you and write down one problem that you cannot imagine can be solved in this new system. And then just put it in your pocket and forget about it, and we'll come back to it later. And you'll be surprised how easily you can answer and solve that problem once we've been down this journey. Thank you. So, let's take a little journey of just reminding ourselves how screwed up the world is, just to really get enough motivation to get out of it. Okay? Sometimes, just for a little while, we're going to look at how bad things are. So how many of us are happy with the way, by show of hands, how many of you in this room are happy with the way the world is going? Put up your hand. Okay, however, you see, you're too smart. You're too clever now. Yeah, exactly. But, unfortunately, we're in a room with a relatively wide-awake audience. But you go to any kind of public place and you ask people, are you happy with what's going on in the world and all that? No one is happy with what's going on. So it shows you how devastated we are. No one ever, anywhere. I've been to 30 countries. Everyone everywhere is desperately unhappy. People are freaking miserable. Everywhere. So it's got to stop. And the problem is that they don't know of an outlet. They don't know of a way to get out. They don't know how to get out of this. For most people, this is it. This is their lot. And that's a depressing state of mind to be in. It's like, this is my life? I've got to do this for another 60 years? Or that's what's happening. Yeah, that's why the suicide rate is going through the roof. How many of us believe that we are fulfilling our life's purpose? That you are born to do what you're doing? There are people, because there are people that have chosen to get out of the system and to follow their heart. So yes, there will be, and that number of people that choose to get out of the rat race is growing. That's an interesting thing. So normally that first question, there's no hands. This question, you normally see a number of hands go up. Are people that have chosen to follow their passion and what they love to do. And that's very encouraging, but we need to increase that dramatically. So remember that we are not born free. So those people that claim, I'm free, I can choose to do what I want, we're not. And yeah, it can become a philosophical argument, but unfortunately, when the men with guns arrive at your front door, you know how unfree you are. Okay, and these are the harsh realities. I know. I was detained at the Canadian-American border for 6 hours, interrogated for 6 hours because of some BS, because they saw some books in my back seat. Okay? Interrogated for 6 hours. My poor girlfriend at the time had a nervous breakdown. And at the end of that 6 hours, they all come out smiling. Hi, yeah. Like, these guys are like sociopaths, man. They profiled when they employ these people. So after 6 hours, they come there, hi, so here's your passport. We're now going to release you. And as he said those words, I went, oh my God, I was in detention. I could have never been seen again. That's it. I could have either reappeared or disappeared. No one could have ever known what happened to Michael Tellinger, because that's the power they have.
Were you entering Canada or were you entering the United States?
United States. And so, strange enough, that's a long time ago. That was in 2010. My first trip to the USA. That was my first experience here. And since then, it's got a lot easier, because I think they know about me, so they just obviously. And I sometimes check the eyes of the guy at the. I see what they do, so they go. Okay, thank you. It's like, okay, let them through, but I don't know. I don't know what it says, but I do know, however, what happens to the screen at the airports when I take my donut-shaped stone, because I now take it through hand luggage. I know what happens to the screen when it goes through the scanner. It's unbelievable. The whole screen goes black, and it just creates this toroidal, colorful shape. These beautiful colors that create a torus. That's all you can see. So what happens, my fiancée Emma goes ahead, and she stands behind the screen, so she can see and then takes pictures of the screen. But they're too far and too blurry, you can't really see it. Because she has to do it very secretively. Otherwise you end up in Guantanamo Bay. Well, why are you here? I was taking pictures of a screen. So we cannot move around freely. We cannot live where we choose to. We need passports, work permits. We have to follow rules and laws that we didn't agree to. We have to work to survive, to earn this thing called money. We have to pay taxes to escape jail time. Clearly this is not freedom. This is called slavery. That's absolute bloody slavery. And this is it. That's where it begins and that's where it ends. From the first breath we take to the last breath we breathe out, this is our reality. But the key thing here, that all of this is controlled by money. Remember, money is the tool that manages and controls this. So money, this is where people often get it wrong. They think it's about how much money you have. It's not about how much money you have. Some of the richest people in the world might have as much money, they don't know even how much they have, but they're still not free. It's about the control of money. It's those that control the supply of money that run this world of ours. So money is a tool by which we are enslaved, and until we come to terms with the fact what money is, and where it comes from, and how it was created, we'll remain the subjects of those who control the creation and the supply of money. That's it. And it's becoming quite interesting. It's completely off the subject. Now, when we get to the central banks, I'll bring up the story. Just remind me about the story about the BIS, the Bank for International Settlements in Basel. So most people have no idea where money comes from. They believe that stuff they tell us at school, that it started with bartering and trading, and then people had some gold, and they had put it into a bank, and then the bankers created these promissory notes and all this. No, absolute nonsense. That's the fairy tale story they tell you so you don't figure out the truth. Money was just suddenly appeared on Earth some 6,000 years ago. I think it's around 6,000 years ago. It could be earlier, it could be later, but according to the Sumerian texts that go back about 4,000 years BC, it tells us that money suddenly appeared when kingdom was lowered to earth from heaven, when the first priest kings were appointed by the gods. And the first priest kings, here is an example of some of the earliest money, and they came in the shape of Sumerian clay tablets, inscribed with all kinds of information. People, what they would do, they would ask the peasants and the people to bring in their gold and their silver into the castle, the temple, where the king was. And they would then they would take the gold and the silver, and they would give the people a piece of clay with some inscription on it. It's a great exchange, isn't it? Yeah. So that's how long this crookery has been going on. So what you're looking at here is a 4,000-year or a 6,000-year-old, this is a 4,000-year-old bill of exchange. And that's exactly the same principle upon which the banking system works today. Bills of exchange, promissory notes, negotiable instruments. This is the oldest negotiable instrument in the world. So the first priest kings they suddenly owned all the land, and this is still a mystery, where do these kings come from? Who appointed them? How did they appoint themselves? Why do the people put up with this crap? And so the origins of royal bloodlines is a huge mystery to us. And the reason they put up with the crap, because these priest kings had fierce weapons with which they could smite the people if they didn't want to listen. Otherwise, nobody would listen to them. Oh, I'm your king, you better listen to me. Really? Fuck off. Yeah. It's like, really? Come on, man. Okay, well, if you don't listen to me, I'm going to smite you. Okay, now I'm going to listen to you. And then they became the first bankers, they became the first landowners, the kings, the landowners, and also the bankers, and their temples that they lived in became the first banks. And you start seeing in the language how the word banco and temple cross over and have many meanings in different languages as well. So money was maliciously introduced as a tool of enslavement. It didn't evolve over millennia of people bartering and trading. No, that's the Goldilocks fairy tale that they want us to believe. So money did not evolve out of barter and trade, and interestingly enough, some of the recent archaeological digs and discoveries show that that was actually the case, because they excavated some villages that they could not find any indication of any kind of bartering or trading systems, nothing. That people just lived together in Ubuntu communities, sharing everything, not having the need to barter or trade. So that if we grow food, we grow it for all of us. If we make shoes for everyone. And if we make computers, we make computers for everyone. And so archaeology can be an interesting tool as well. So currently, obviously, it's very evident that our system is broken. It's completely spiraled out of control, and it cannot be fixed. So the system that we're in right now, if we think we're going to fix it and make it better, that's why, can you see the repetitive stories of politicians? Oh, we're going to increase taxes. We're going to do this. We're going to lower taxes. It's either lower taxes or increase taxes. Oh, it's one or the other. And, and like that's going to solve the problems? Wow. So Albert said that we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. And that's exactly what we have to do. So our plan of action has to be something very different. And we'll get back to what we're going to do. Our plan of action is to create a new alternative without any resistance, protest, opposition, violence, or conflict, because those are all old paradigm thinking. And the more you oppose and resist, the more you're going to get beaten down, because the guys that call the shots that control the guys with the guns. It's a scary thing when you come face to face with that kind of authority. I don't know how many of you have done that. It's like you just know you're screwed. It's like no matter what you do. And that's when the whole like, am I going to sacrifice myself for this, or am I going to just back off? You know, it kicks in. It's like this weird, numb kind of thought process starts to go through your head. Am I going to advance and die, or am I going to retreat and submit to this authority? It's a really quite a disturbing thing. I believe that when we build it, they will come. I absolutely firmly believe that. And not everyone understands what we are building. But it's okay. They don't need to understand what we're building. They know that we have to build something else. So the thing is that everybody supports this. Most people support what we are doing. They don't always know how we're going to do it and why we do, or the process, but they know that we need something new, and that's okay, as long as we got the mass, the majority of the people, or at least a critical mass. It doesn't have to be a majority. Sorry, that it needs to be a critical mass of people, because it's a critical mass of people, as Malcolm Caldwell says, right? That tipping point. Once we get a critical mass of people, it just flips so quickly, and suddenly everybody will behave as if they always known about it. Oh, of course. That's what happens through situations, throughout life and history and so forth. People talk about something and then suddenly something happens and everybody suddenly knows about it. So, as I mentioned, we use the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. And that includes politics, capitalism, corporate structure, the legal system, and money itself.